Hi everyone, so my name is Leanne and I'm doing the Whole30. I've completed 3 full weeks. I'm on day 21 of the Whole30, and I believe that there are 3 tips that I have to share that can really help make any Whole30 a lot easier. Quick disclaimer, the Whole30 is not easy. It is an elimination diet. What they do is they take out any kind of food that could possibly maybe harm the body or isn't the best food for the body, and they take it completely out. There's absolutely no cheats or slips. You can't have a cookie tomorrow and just keep going. If I had a cookie tomorrow, I would have to start back on day 1. So it's a very intense thing to take on. So I think that there are 3 tips that I've discovered through a lot of reading and research and experience and reading other people's experience that really, if you follow these 3 tips, I can guarantee you will have an easier time with your Whole30. So the first thing that I think is super important is to read the book, The Whole30, cover to cover, as well as It Starts with Food, cover to cover. And I mean cover to cover. And why did I pick this as my absolute first tip that I think is really important to having an easier time on the Whole30 is because, number one, it's really hard to follow a plan that you don't understand. So if you are just like, I'm going to do the Whole30, and you're trying to follow the rules, but you don't quite know the rules, then that could be really tough. So reading the Whole30 book is really great to know all the rules. It's very black and white. You can go online and you can find lists of things that you should and should not be eating as well. The reason why It Starts with Food is such an important read is because they say that it's like the science behind it or the why behind it, but I think it really helps solidify the importance of the choices. So it's really hard, unless you're one of those people that everything you read and anything that anyone tells you, you're like, okay, that sounds great, I'll do that with no questions ever. I think that reading It Starts with Food really helps to understand why it's important to eat these foods and why it's important to not eat certain foods. So that really helped me solidify in my mind that not only am I doing this because of whatever reason I came up with, but it helped me to solidify that I really want to do this, and this is good for my body, and this is a good thing for my health. So I would, number one, definitely recommend reading both the Whole30 and It Starts with Food cover to cover. Sorry, that's my cat. Number 2, the second tip is gain support. Now, you can do this in many different ways. I had a couple different people that I knew also doing the Whole30, and so that was really helpful. It was really helpful to have some people in my town doing it with me, because some of us would text together and we'd say, you can find this certain product at this certain grocery store in our town and it's compliant, or we just found out that this compliant product is now stocked into the grocery store, or this is on sale at this grocery store. It was really helpful. Also, I had one person that I actually set up a cooking date. Once a week, we would get 2 or 3 different recipes that we wanted to try, and we would cook together. So that was really helpful as like a refresh time. It was nice to spend time together with someone else who's also doing the Whole30. We got to talk a lot and support each other. So I think that that's really helpful. Even like finding someone online that has done it before. I've had a couple people reach out to me digitally, like online, and say that they want to do a Whole30 or they're just starting a Whole30 and they'd love my support. And so whether it's on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever, I've had a couple of people reach out to me, and even just having someone where you could even commiserate about how awful it is really helpful. And then my last tip is prepare. Now this actually is going to look different depending on each individual person. So there's some people that really love to meal prep. They love, that's me. I like to cook everything on one day and just have containers that I can reheat and grab and go. I'm not someone that likes to have to prepare food. I like to just grab the food when I'm hungry and go. And my schedule's kind of crazy, so sometimes it's really hard for me to know if I'm going to have certain nights to cook or not. So I like to, every Sunday when I get done with church, I go straight to the grocery store, I get everything I need, and then I come home and I food prep. And I make a distinguishment between food prep and meal prep, because I always would meal prep. I would make a large batch of something and a large batch of a side, and I would just put those two together, and I'd have like 6 or 7 of those, and that's just what I would eat during the week. And it wasn't a big deal because I could have snacks. I could do whatever I wanted to. If I got tired of it, I could order a pizza. But you can't really do that on the Whole30. So something that I did to help me with food boredom was I would just cook up a main dish and a side, and I would store them separately, so that if I wanted the main dish but I didn't want my side, I didn't have to like split them up out of a container. I would just grab what I wanted, and I almost like made my lunch every day by just grabbing what I wanted to eat that day. And so that made food boredom not really an issue because I could mix and match and do whatever I wanted to do. Now, if you are not a fan of leftovers, that might look like going to the grocery and grabbing some meals that you know that you're going to be able to cook and have specific nights. Like, I know I'm going to have time to create this, hour-long meal, and I know that I'm going to have something quick this night, and really planning it out that way. Just really knowing how you eat and how you like to eat and how you don't like to eat is going to be really important. Another thing along with that is having a variety. So a lot of the tips on the Whole30 website and on their social media is to prepare, have emergency snacks and have emergency foods, and I think that's really important. Again, with like my food prep versus meal prep, I think that having that variety and that ability to have a variety, like if I wanted to just throw some carrot sticks and guacamole as my side, I totally could do that, no problem. So along with that variety, when you're planning your meals, it's a really good idea to have a good mix between the new recipes, because you're going to try new recipes, otherwise you're going to go crazy eating sad versions of what you used to eat. So have new recipes that you want to try. Have old recipes that you know are compliant. I had a chicken salad recipe that I love, and everything was compliant except for the mayo. So I just made my own mayo and put it together, and it was really nice to have that as like a transition food, and so it wasn't as scary. And then also have stuff like in the freezer or the refrigerator that is really quick. I found turkey burgers at Costco, and all I have to do is take a patty out, throw it in a pan, and sear it on both sides for like 6 or 7 minutes, and then it was done. And that way I could take that out, I could put some oregano on it, I could put just salt and pepper, I could season it however I wanted to, and it was just a quick emergency meal of like, I don't feel like eating anything in my refrigerator, or I don't have time to cook something, and that day is going to come where you're going to be kind of stuck up a pole and you don't want to eat what you have, or you don't have time for what you do have to cook. So have emergency food. That's really important, I think. And then lastly, in the prepare is keep it simple. Like, when it comes down to it, all you need for a plate is protein, healthy fat, and 1 to 3 servings of vegetables. So keep it really simple. Do 1 protein, 1 healthy fat, and 1 or 2 vegetables. Just throw it on a plate. I mean, it could be frozen green beans, or frozen carrots, or fresh carrots, or cucumbers, or broccoli, plus like some chicken, or some fish, or some steak. I mean, whatever you want. And then have that healthy fat, so like an avocado, or a coconut, or some olive oil drizzled over your vegetables. Like, really, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be scary too. So those are my 3 tips. I think that they're really important. I think that if you read both the Whole30 and it starts with food, if you get some support, some really solid support, and if you really prepare and keep in mind what's about to happen, then I think you're going to have a much easier time than if you don't follow those 3 things. So I hope this video is going to be helpful to you, whether you are in a Whole30 or about to go on a Whole30 or are curious about a Whole30. I definitely have had a really easy time, I think, with the Whole30. Not that I have had an easy time with all of my reactions to the Whole30. If you've seen any of my other videos, some of them are really super nice and sunshine and rainbows because I didn't have a whole lot of detox going on, but my 3rd week I did have a lot of struggles. But overall, I think how I approached the Whole30 and how I prepared and what I've done to help myself become successful is really helpful. And I hope that you also consider the Whole30 because I really believe in this program. If you want to learn anything about the Whole30, you can go to Whole30.com and check out. They have a lot of great online resources. So educate yourself and have a great day. Thank you so much for watching.